Good evening, and welcome to the conclusion of our murder mystery. I hope you have your suspect, their motive, and the method they used to kill Agatha Jeffries at the ready. There is no doubt that the poison was in either the water bottle or in the orange juice. But which? And who put it there? Before we begin, I would like to draw your attention to two factors which you should bear in mind. Firstly, the door buzzer on the back door of the hall, and secondly, the opportunity needed by the killer to both plant and remove the evidence safely and without being seen. So let us look at the suspects. I think you'll agree that all three have a motive, but how strong? All three are known gardeners, so would have access to the slug pellets needed to spike Agatha's drink. But which drink? Firstly, let's look at Paula Jeffries. Her marriage was not a totally comfortable one, but was it uncomfortable enough to kill her wife? She certainly seemed genuinely upset by Agatha's death, and yet, in the midst of all the turmoil, her thoughts could not help but turn to Sarah Lakin.
At least Sarah got home. She'd have been traumatised.
Despite her claim that Sarah was her wife's friend, Sarah was clearly closer to Paula than to Agatha. And was Paula's need to throw her wife's second water bottle away a purely emotional one? Or was there a darker reason?
I asked where to put Agatha's spare water bottle and she said to put it in the bin as she couldn't bear to look at it. Poor Paula.
And what of Sarah Lakin? Obviously she was very fond of Paula, but how fond? Clearly there was something very wrong between herself and Agatha, but what? Was it purely vindictive jealousy on Agatha's part over the younger woman getting the best costumes? Or did it stem from a suspicion that Sarah was in love with Paula, or she with Sarah? Sarah would know that Agatha had the fitting after her, but not that Agatha would be early, or that they would have time together in the dressing room without Judith. So how could she have premeditated the murder? Or did she have the poison with her on the off chance that she could pass Agatha a poisoned glass of orange juice or switch drinks bottles? And how could she guarantee the evidence would be washed up or switched back in time? Judith Ames also had her reasons for hating Agatha Jeffries. Were there too many clouds on Judith's horizon if Agatha was around? Judith was well placed to tamper with evidence.
But I noticed the orange juice jug was well down, so someone must have had some of it. I think 2 glasses had been used. I washed those up later.
Did she deliberately wash up the orange juice glasses to cover her tracks? Did she spike one of the glasses in the hope that Agatha would forego her favoured water bottle? How likely was that? When could she have done it without endangering Sarah too? And how could she be sure of having the opportunity to spike the drink or dispose of the evidence? This murder was carefully planned by one of these people and relied on timing. Did you work it out, I wonder? And the importance of the door buzzer, and the fact there was no phone signal in the hall. Sarah Lakin arrived for her costume fitting with Judith Ames. At about the same time, Agatha Jeffries set off to the village hall for her fitting, knowing full well that she would be early and see Sarah. At around the same time, Paula Jeffries sets off for her walk. She had seen the email from Judith Ames. She knew Sarah's fitting was before Agatha's, and that she was last on the list. She also knew the format the fitting would take, having done it herself in the past. I suggest that, rather than walking around the village, she followed her wife directly to the hall and waited outside the side door in the darkness for Sarah Lakin to leave. She knew the door closed slowly, and she quickly entered the hall before the door closed. She knew Sarah was nervous of the dark and would not look back and see her. Even if she had, Paula could make some excuse for being there. Safely inside the hall, she waited out of sight near the door for Agatha and Judith to go on stage to photograph the costume. She then entered the dressing room and swapped her wife's water bottle for the spare one she had laced with slug pellets. The crystals in the bottle would disguise any remaining pieces of undissolved pellet. She then went back to her hiding place and waited. She watched them come back to the dressing room and watched Judith go to the kitchen to refill the orange jug, then watched her return to the dressing room. At that point, she went to the back door, opened it, and pretended to arrive at the hall to meet her wife. Playing the concerned partner and knowing perfectly well that there was no phone signal in the hall, she sent Judith Ames off to call for help, while she swapped the 2 water bottles back. The police would then find only still water in Agatha's bottle. On returning home, she poured the contents of the water bottle around the hostas and put it through the dishwasher. I suspect the irony of poisoning the beloved water bottle appealed to her. Paula couldn't be 100% sure that her wife would drink from the bottle within this short window of time, but it was a fairly safe bet. What her plans for the future were, I can only surmise, but I suspect they involved Sarah Lakin. She acted the good and distraught wife, but still waters do indeed run deep. We hope you have enjoyed our little production and look forward to seeing you in the future. Good night. All the cast members of this production have been touched by cancer through friends and family. For that reason, we would like to ask that if you have watched and enjoyed this production, that you please consider donating to the charity link being displayed on the screen now, or by following the link in the post for this video. Thank you.